What's up, guys, and welcome back to BPM. Now, as many of you probably remember, in episode 1 we built this base, and I said, hey guys, don't have time for the interior right now, but I'm sure I'll do it next episode. Well, here we are in episode 4, and it's still empty. But today, I think I'm finally going to be changing that. Today, I want to build an interior. However, before we do that, do you guys remember that skeleton and spider farm? Well, as you can see, turns out it's actually like directly below that starter base that I built. I ended up making these drop down and straight elevator, water elevator thingy up so that we can get up and down really easily. But as you can see, this place is also in need of an interior, so I figured if I'm gonna be working on the interior of my main base, I should probably also work... I guess that takes care of that. Alright, let's be honest here. How many of you... Did I get anybody there? How was that? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, obviously, but... What do you guys think of that little transition? Little editing magicry. Anyways, yeah, so I did the interior of this place. It was kind of bothering me that I made this farm, like, a while ago, but I never actually, well, finished the interior. I had a little bit of, like, flooring, but, you know, I've never really tried to decorate, like, an XP area thing, and I just actually took a trip to a lush cave to get some of these lush leaves and, you know, the azalea bushes and everything. And I was like, you know, let's try it out. I think it could look nice, add a little bit of color to this otherwise dark interior. So I started adding these, and then I was like, you know, I kind of feel like I need some more color. So I went to a geode and I got some of this amethyst because I honestly think it looks nice. It also sounds nice when you walk on it. You guys hear that? It's really quiet, but it makes like a little dinging sound when you walk, and I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know, this isn't my favorite thing I've ever built, but I think it definitely gets the job done, and it looks better than just deep slate, that's for sure. But anyways, like I was saying, so our main project today, at least building-wise, I do have another non-building project for today, but starters, my main building project that I want to do is the interior of this base. As we can see, well, there is none. I have a yellow bed here. That's about it. Other than the yellow bed, we've got some nice dirt ceilings, some unfinished walls, apparently a block left over from an Enderman, I think. So this place needs some serious work. I got a bit of practice with that interior down there, our first real interior of this series. So I think I should probably work on this interior. It is nighttime, though. That's unfortunate. All right, let's head in here. Now, where did I put that bed? Oh, that's right. Okay, here we go. And let's sleep through that night real quick, and then we can get started. All right, guys. Did I get you guys again? Alright, I promise that's the last time I'm going to do that this episode, but check it out, guys. I actually have completed the interior of the starter base. So, the outside still looks about exactly the same, until you look through the windows at least. But, on the inside, I have done quite a bit of work to make it feel a lot more homey. So, I honestly had a bit of a problem deciding what I wanted to do with this base. I mean, obviously it was supposed to be the starter base, right? But what do you think of when you think of a starter base? You think of like a big storage room, maybe somewhere to do crafting, and, you know, more practical rather than looks. But what I wanted to do with this place is actually make it look good. You know, I have very little experience with interiors, so I tried my best to make it look interesting, and every door that you go behind, you know, you get a new, different feel, right? So I kind of sacrificed some of the functionality of a starter base. This right here is the most storage I have, and this is definitely not going to cut it. So what I'm probably going to need to do is make some sort of secondary base that's less pretty, I guess, for lack of a better word. A little bit more function over form instead of form over function, which is more what I did with this place. But I can still use it, you know. It can be where my primary bed is, up there. You know, I've got a jukebox, and I'm storing all of my records in there. And I do still have a bit of storage here. And as we know, in the basement, which I actually haven't done, but in the basement, we do have this that goes down to the XP farm. So regardless, even if this is a bit more of a showy building, it does still have some uses. And then a little bit later in the playthrough, we can make a more like dedicated traditional storage room and crafting area and that kind of stuff. Okay, anyways, I have no idea where that creeper came from. Patched up. How about we get a bit of a tour going? So as you guys can see, you come in the front door, and we actually go down a step. That's to give us a bit more ceiling height. You know, I didn't want it to feel too cramped, even if it is the bottom floor. So we got this nice wall design that I came up with here. It's a bit of like a traditional, you know, I was trying to go with, I looked at my own wall. What do I see? I see a trim at the bottom, and then I see a relatively flat white drywall color. So this is kind of what I was going with here with the white clay or the white terracotta. And then we have the trim here, and I did that for the entire basement. Or I guess this isn't the basement, this is the ground floor. The basement will be below. Anyways, so then right here we've got a little bit of a closet, a storage area. I wanted this to be close to the entrance so that if I just want to drop some stuff off, I can. So that's what we got here. And then if we come over here, we have a traditional kitchen, you know, the fridge and everything. Apparently this painting got blown off by the creeper somehow. I don't... Okay, sure, yeah, blast radius, okay. But we do have a kitchen here, as well as a dining room table. And as you guys saw, this will eventually also be the entrance to the basement, which I have not completed. And you know, maybe I can have my traditional storage room down there. Who knows? We'll see. Anyways, that basically concludes the bottom floor, other than this little storage thing under the stairs there, you know, Harry Potter style. Then once we go upstairs, as you can see, we have a bit of a higher ceiling up here. And this is more of just a kind of connector room. There's not a ton of useful stuff in here, other than, like I said, I do have a jukebox and quite a bit of records in here, so if we ever want to, you know, jam out. This is also how you get to the second floor balcony that's above the entrance down there. And if we go in here, this is the bedroom, which we saw a bit earlier. I got an ender chest in here, don't have anything stored in it yet, but this is the first ender chest of the world. As well as my bed, some nice views of the bay down there. And then across the hall, this might be my favorite room, to be honest. I have created a bit of a library here. You know, this was the biggest room in the house, other than this one, which was more of a connector room. But the biggest non-connector room, I was like, what do I do with this? And I was like, you know what, screw it. Let's just give us a little home library. So we got 3 rows, tons of books. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff to read in here if I, you know, could read. We've also got a view of the soon-to-be bustling town down here, as well as a potential castle here. And if we come in here, the last room of the house is a nice chill. This is that big front window at the front, and this will eventually be looking out into the countryside here. We'll get rid of these tree farms and stuff. We've got the fireplace so that the chimney up top actually makes sense. And that is basically the house. Now, I'm actually quite happy with it. Like I said, I don't have a ton of interior decorating practice, but with all of these new items that they've been adding to the game, you know, candles, lanterns, azaleas, all this stuff, I feel like it's made it so much easier to just decorate places and make it look nice. You know, you can use scaffolding as tables, you can use barrels. I don't know. I really think interior decoration has gotten loads easier than it was, you know, 5 years ago. I also went with a bit of a lush theme in here. As you guys may notice, there, you know, there's pots everywhere. I've got some hanging plants there, and I honestly really like it. I love the azalea leaves. I'm going to be using these in a lot of my builds. And even if it doesn't make a ton of logical sense, I just think it adds some nice color and fills in some empty spaces or otherwise empty spaces. And really just makes the house feel like it has a bit more life to it. But that is the interior of our starter base, now completed, even though we built this 2 whole episodes ago. And as I was giving you the tour, you may have noticed a couple of fellas over here. While I was building the interior of this place, I actually had not 1, not 2, but 4 raids show up. I actually only killed 2 of them. The other ones I just left despawn. I didn't actually do any raids, but the raiding parties came over. I ended up killing these guys with fire, so I didn't get bad omen. But what I did do is I saved 2 of the crossbow guys, and then I used a pretty easy trick where you just place a slab, you stand on it, you get a block, and you can basically get these guys to shoot at you without ever taking damage until their crossbows break, and then they become passive enemies. And so, why, you may be asking, why do I have 2 pacified pillagers trapped here? Well, this guy's just an extra in case I mess up, but this guy right here in the minecart is actually going to be essential for our next project in this episode, and as some of you may have guessed, that project is, of course, an iron farm. What I want to do is I want to move this guy over here near our, I guess this is going to be a bit of a farming district. We have our villager hall / farm thing. We have the bee farm. And now right around this area here, I want to build an iron farm. Now I'm not actually going to be building the building over the top of it today, but what I will be doing is making the functional farm part. So how about we get into a bit of a time lapse? I have a bunch of area to clear because the spawn radius of iron golems is actually pretty big. So what I want to do is actually build this underground a bit, and then I want to build a building over the top of that. That way I don't really need to have a absolutely massive building to enclose the entire spawn radius, and instead I can put the big opening underground and then just have a more decorational building to mark the underground iron farm, basically. So let's jump into a time lapse, and I have a lot of clearing to do. Man, that would have been so much quicker if I had a freaking beacon. The whole time I was mining this place, I was like, dang, imagine if I had insta-mine right now. But anyways, yeah, so here we go. This is the massive area that I wanted to mine out. I'm actually just noticing there's a hole in the ceiling, whatever. And it's done. Now you may be wondering why the heck you mine out such a big area for an iron farm. And the answer is because it looks cool. To be perfectly honest, I mean, there is a little bit more of a technical reason. So the iron farm design that I'm using is going to go right floating in the middle of this. And this is going to be the exact amount of space to where no iron golems can spawn anywhere except the spawn platform that I'm placing. This is going to be the exact radius of the iron golem spawning. However, I didn't actually have to mine all that out. I could have left it as solid blocks and it would have worked the same. But by mining it out, I ensured there was no like hidden caves or anything that might have messed with the rates. And also, more importantly, it allows me to now build some cool designs on these walls. And I think what I'm going to do is actually have the entire ceiling be glass so that there'll be an entire floor up there where you can just look down upon the whole farm at work. So that is truly why I mined out such a big area, because it looks cool. But obviously it doesn't look cool right now. I mean, it kind of does, but it will look a lot cooler when there's actually a farm. So this is just a bit of an update. Let's jump into another time lapse, or more of a continuation to the time lapse, as I build the actual farm. Ta-da! What do you guys think, huh? This is quite an iron farm. I'm gonna be honest, I've never put this much effort into an iron farm, but you know what? I figured, hey, this is the first major farm of the playthrough. I'm gonna be using it a ton. I mean, I always need iron. And yeah, let's do it right? So, I tried my hand in some pixel art. I don't have a ton of experience, but when a game is made out of pixels already, it's not that hard to recreate. Now, I kind of had a hard time with these iron ingots because there's not a ton of different shades of white. If you take a look at an iron ingot, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell here, but there's like 6, 7, 8 different shades of like really, really light grays and whites in here. So I kind of had to simplify it a bit, but I honestly think it turned out great. Now, once I finished, I was kind of getting to thinking, and I was like, this place doesn't really fit the theme of the town above at all, does it? I've got this, like, futuristic glowstone quartz thing going on here in the walls, and the really vibrant pixel art colors. But you know what? This is underground. Screw it. This isn't part of the town. I'll have a normal building on top, and it won't matter. But yeah, here it is, guys. Now, as for the actual farm itself, in case you're curious, I didn't fully come up with this design. If I'm being honest with you guys, this centerpiece here, where we've got the 4 fences and the soul sand and the guys bobbing up and down, this I found in a really old, I say really old, it was probably like 2 years ago, whenever they changed iron golem spawning mechanics most recently. I found a YouTube video. It was by like Il Mango or Shulkercraft or one of those like, you know, classic Minecraft farm YouTube channels. Like you look up a farm and they're always at the top. But I could not find the video again. I was trying to find the video so that I could recreate it one-to-one like I have in the past. Hello. But I wasn't able to find the video. So I recreated it the best I could from memory, and hey, it works. So that's all I care about. But I don't actually have the video to link you guys, although there's a ton of different really good iron farm tutorials. It's not really that bad. In order to recreate the little cells here, I just looked up the radiuses on iron golem spawning and stuff, and I just made sure each one of these cells is 10 blocks apart so that they all are counted as individuals. Now, I don't technically get 4 villager cell rates here, I don't think, because they're all using one central spawning platform, which means if one iron golem spawns, like, over here, for example, it's got to be blocking the spawns of both of these, so it's not actually a full 4-cell iron farm. However, it does get better rates in a single cell, and that's kind of what I was looking for, was a little bit better rates. And if you guys are curious, if we take a look down here, during the time of building, we've gotten this much iron, and actually a bit more than that, because if you look at the walls, I used a decent amount of iron blocks in some of this pixel art here, and that iron there came from the farm as well. So I've gotten this much iron, plus I want to say like 3 or 4 stacks of ingots more than this, maybe 5 stacks of ingots at most. And I was probably building the farm, or once this farm was functional, I was probably in this area for, I don't know, like 3-4 hours. So I would say these rates are pretty good. You know, it's looking somewhere around 5-6 stacks of iron an hour, which I think is great. I don't think I'll need more than that for a long time. In fact, speaking of needing more iron, this is not where I want to store it. So as you guys know, I put this glass ceiling up here, and right now it's just stone. But what I want to do is I want to mine this out a bit taller and have another room up there. And that room will be like the control center, in quotes. I'm doing air quotes right now. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm doing air quotes. So what I want to do is I want to have a dropper elevator bring all the iron up. And then that way I can just stand up there, I can look down on the farm at work, and I can quickly grab poppies if I need red dye, or more likely I'll be grabbing a bunch of iron from here. And that way I don't have to come down here very often at all. I'll basically have everything I need up there, but I'm not going to do that today because I don't actually know how long this episode is going to be in runtime. But let me tell you what, between those 2 interiors that I built and now this freaking place, I have spent a lot of time just grinding away at this episode. But you know what? I'm really happy with the results. I think this iron farm looks amazing, personally. And it'll look even better once that ceiling is filled out and it's not stone up there. But Guys, that is all I have time for today. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you to The Great Bendini, Christopher Hubenstein, Inutile, Oliver, and all my other patrons for helping make this video possible. Did I make a cat farm unintentionally? What's going on here? I don't know how cats spawn. What's happening? There's so many cats here.